What's going on, peoples? It's Kolo, K-O-L-O, and I'm here today to do a beat breakdown of my song Pendulum. The new song Pendulum featuring the one only Idris Elba. Crazy to say, but yeah, I'm so grateful for how this song turned out. So happy that this song is coming out now and that y'all can hear it. Basically, I'll tell you the story about how this crazy song that came together. So basically, I do this creative stuff on TikTok and social media where I sample all kinds of things. You can sample anything, even a vacuum cleaner, even an iron. I'm sampling a microwave. The sound of a sneeze. And this day I plan to sample chimpanzees and chimpanzee noises, and I made a beat out of that. Put it on TikTok and put it on social media, and it got some love, but it just commented on it. It was dope beat and everything, and that was kind of the beginning of oh, okay, cool, From then on, it just kind of became a thing. I kept doing what I was doing, and we got to talking, and he was like, yo, would you want to do a beat, a full song and everything? And of course, I was like, yeah, I'm down. So yeah, basically, it's a crazy story. Crazy how this song came together. Went to London to shoot the video and everything. So super blessed that everything has turned out the way it has. But today, I'm gonna be breaking down the beat from top to bottom. And yeah, it's one of my creative ones. So excited to get into it. And yeah, let me go ahead and start. So basically, again, like I said, I always try to come up with creative things to challenge myself, things to, bring out a new sense of creativity or a new kind of angle. And then doing things like this keeps me on my toes, and it keeps me kind of it helps me as a producer to continue to stay creative. So basically this day I found this chimpanzee sample, and we are gonna literally start with just playing the sample, and yeah. It's just a bunch of chimpanzees. So yeah, I started with just that. I had that, and I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I can make something rhythmic out of that. I can have that be some sort of chant in the back. So basically, this is what you get with the first part of the actual sample. Is this, and it's looping, and I can play the metronome. So you can see it building, and then I took another part of the sample. So it's actually almost 3 samples combined, or 3 different parts of these chimpanzee noises. So then I took another part of the sample here, and you'll see that here. Sorry, I played that. Yeah, so that's another part, and then I add another part here. Yeah. So it's just about 4 layers of chimpanzee noises. So this is all them playing at the same time. And again, it's all on beat. So it's so yeah, that's the foundation of the beat. So from then on, I'm kind of okay, let me build some actual more melodic things to actually build the beat out. So I'm starting at this point. I got this, and then at this point, I decide to add piano. And these are just piano chords. I usually type them out, or even if I don't type them, I'll draw them in Ableton. So yeah, we got piano and the chimpanzee sample. So, and then from that point, again, I'm just building. I just kind of threw a drum break. I have drums over here to the side, and usually I have beat drum breaks that I can just take and drag in. So I kind of just drag one in, and it sounded dope, and this was it. Yeah, so simple, straightforward, doesn't really change much, which is exactly how I wanted it. So with that, with the piano and everything, this is how that sounds. Woo. So we can see it, everything's starting to build a little bit. Everything's starting to build. So I think at this point, there's a plugin called Arcade that I really enjoy, and it has these guitar samples. So I think this is like, I just pressed this button here, and literally, that's like literally all I pressed. I just pressed one button and it has a certain melody. And it just seemed like the perfect melody to kind of set everything off. A perfect accent for the beat. So I just pressed that and I added that to what I already have. And yeah, the beat just keeps building. So. So yeah, man, I got the guitar in there and everything, and as you can see, like, it's time to get some bass and action. Like, this wasn't one of those songs that I really wanted to use an 808, even though with some boom bap songs I use 808s, but this was kind of like, this was calling for like a bass guitar. So there's this plugin called State Machine. It's from Cradle, and they have like a vintage bass plugin that I like to use a lot. It's a plugin that I've used on a lot of beats. It just has like a great, like, classic vintage bass sound. So that's just this. And again, I kind of like type it out or draw it out, mixture of both. And you can see the MIDI notes here. It's pretty on the grid, pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy. And with that, this is what you got. So yeah, man, like, that's like the main elements of the beat. So pretty much at this point the beat is done. I believe this is the version that was actually on TikTok that Idris heard and wanted to collaborate. At this point, that was like the main part of the beat, but sometimes with beats, like, you don't want things to get stale. You wanted things to keep moving, and the movement is obviously like taking out certain elements at certain times. So even in this, you could see, like, for example, right here is where the guitars are at, but at this point, the guitar, you know, I take it out for a little bit or take things out. So that helps to add some variety. But I also wanted to add some, like, synths or some things that will come in and come out to kind of like transition between our verses, transition between things. Like a part where it's like you could tell it's the chorus, you could tell it's the verse, that type of stuff. So at that point, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm adding this here. I think this is some sort of choir noise. Actually, strings. Yeah. And this is playing the same exact chords as, it's playing the same chords as the piano. So, yeah. And then, so yeah, that's another element. So when that comes in, that sounds like this. And you can kind of hear it in the back. So next sound, again, another thing to set it off or set it apart, like different parts of the song. So when some of these elements come in, of course, you just feel like it's a different part of the song, or you feel like the song is moving. And this is like another synth element that I had. I think I played this from Arcade. Yeah, so Arcade has these kind of like, it's basically like a sampler in itself, and you can play different melodies and stuff. So this is what I played from this. And this is the pattern I played, but it's just, if you can watch it, it's like playing certain, yeah, it's basically like chopping in a way, but you know, I'm basically chopping, but it's a sampler in itself, so it's like, it's dope, kind of how this came out. I don't even remember doing this. So that once you have that, that also adds. So that comes in. All right, so yeah, like that's pretty much most of the main part of the beat. So that's what we have. I'm gonna play it again just so you can see kind of how it transitions a little bit. But yeah. Yeah, so yeah, and then obviously the rest of it is just taking stuff in and taking stuff, taking stuff out and then bringing stuff back in throughout the song to keep it moving. The last few things I got to show are like the intro. So I have an intro part to kind of like add some kind of a cinematic feel, and it has you like anticipating the drop. So I did intro sequence, and this is kind of like using like an actual pendulum, which goes off like the song or the sound of like a swinging pendulum, and that's this. And then there were some synths that I added. So for the beginning of the intro, this is the first thing, two things you have. And then you add these synths. And those synths are playing the same chords as the piano, so it's all the same thing. I think it's like a synth and organ combined that I did. I think this is the original synth here, or some sort of strings. I think it's strings actually. And then an organ here from Arturia that I used, and it's playing the same stuff. I just put like, so it's a sound on its own, combining those two things. Whew. And I think I also added some effects from a plugin called Portal. And yeah, this plugin kind of adds like certain effects to it. So that's when you get that kind of effect that you hear. And then, yeah, added bass as well. So I'm gonna play the whole thing. Yeah. That is like is its own song in itself too. So it's like, yeah, man, that's really dope that I was able to do that too, because I feel like it just kind of added anticipation before the song comes in. So yeah, that was pretty much all the elements. Yeah, man, it's crazy how you can make a song sampling random animals and people want to hop on it. Obviously, like the way I use this sound was a sound that's like kind of tucked in the back a little bit. It's more of like a texture that sets the beat apart. But yeah, still all in all, like I really am proud of this beat, proud of the way it came out. And it's cool to do creative things like this. Sometimes it leads to some of your best work. So yeah, pretty much that was it. That's how Pendulum came about. The song is out now. One of my favorite songs I've done. One of my favorite, some of my favorite verses, some of my favorite lines, and it's a dope moment because I actually have a song that I even mentioned about like me being a young Idris Elba and stuff like that.
Won Oscars like Heath Ledger for soundtracks and lead roles, motion pictures. Young Idris Elba meets Zimmer. I've tried to tell them.
It's kind of crazy the things you manifest when you don't even realize you're manifesting them. So it's dope to have this moment. And yeah, y'all go check out that song right now. Got an album coming out very soon as well. A lot of stuff down the pipeline. Again, it's Kolo, it's K-O-L-O, you already know. Let's go.
Me and Kolo, we be blood like we was a pair of donors. I'll be older, he be younger, but I love him like a brother. I spit the dark like I'm coming from Staten. I'm good in any hood that I roll, it's the pattern. And even if I have to step into a hostile situation, if they ever test my patience, I'm ready to slap them.
And they gon' back up cause they ain't about that action. And if this a Game of Thrones, then we got the House of Dragons.